The San Francisco 49ers are making another important coaching move. They are bringing in veteran defensive coach Jerry Gray. Gray previously worked with the Atlanta Falcons. Now he reunites with Raheem Morris again. Jerry Gray is known for his defensive back expertise. He has coached in multiple NFL teams over many years. This experience could be huge for the 49ers secondary. Raheem Morris also recently joined San Francisco. After leaving Atlanta, he quickly found a new opportunity. Now, both coaches are back together in a new system. For the Falcons, this means another coaching change. For the 49ers, it could mean defensive improvement. And for fans, expectations are already rising. The San Francisco 49ers continue to reinforce their defensive infrastructure with the addition of veteran coach Jerry Gray, a move that quietly carries significant strategic implications beyond the surface-level reunion narrative. Gray's arrival represents more than just another staff hire. It signals a deliberate attempt by the organization to stabilize and elevate the technical consistency of its secondary at a time when defensive adaptability is becoming increasingly critical across the league. With decades of coaching experience spanning multiple franchises, Gray brings institutional knowledge, schematic versatility, and player development credibility that few position coaches can match. His professional history includes impactful roles with the Green Bay Packers, Minnesota Vikings, Tennessee Titans, and Buffalo Bills, giving him exposure to a wide range of defensive systems, roster constructions, and leadership structures. That background becomes particularly relevant in San Francisco, where defensive success has often relied on cohesive communication between the pass rush and coverage units rather than purely individual talent. Gray's technical emphasis on footwork discipline, route recognition, and situational awareness aligns naturally with the 49ers' defensive philosophy, which prioritizes minimizing explosive plays while forcing offenses into predictable decision-making patterns. The reunion with Raheem Morris adds another layer of intrigue because coaching relationships built on prior collaboration often accelerate implementation speed, especially during off-season installation periods. Familiar terminology, shared evaluation standards, and mutual trust can reduce friction when integrating new concepts into a roster that already has established leaders. Morris himself arrives with motivation after his tenure in Atlanta ended sooner than many anticipated, and the opportunity to coordinate a defense with championship aspirations provides both professional redemption and competitive urgency. That emotional component should not be underestimated. Coaching staffs frequently perform at higher levels when individuals feel they have something to prove, and early signs suggest Morris and Gray will approach this role with a collective determination to demonstrate their value. From a roster development perspective, Gray's influence could be especially impactful for younger defensive backs transitioning into expanded responsibilities. The NFL increasingly demands hybrid defensive players capable of handling multiple coverage assignments within the same series, and veteran teachers who can accelerate mental processing often become competitive advantages. Players under Gray's guidance historically show improvement in anticipation and positioning rather than simply relying on athleticism, a trait that becomes crucial deep into playoff runs when opponents exploit small technical weaknesses. For the Falcons, Gray's departure creates a subtle but meaningful void within their defensive leadership hierarchy, even if the organization retains much of its coaching core. Continuity matters, but the loss of experienced voices can alter meeting room dynamics and mentorship structures, particularly for developing players who rely on trusted instructors. Meanwhile, Atlanta's coaching transitions, including additional staff movement to other franchises, reflect the broader reality of NFL ecosystems where successful programs inevitably lose personnel to opportunity elsewhere. Fan reaction across both markets reflects contrasting emotional currents. San Francisco supporters largely view the hire through an optimistic lens, interpreting it as another example of organizational commitment to sustained contention, while Atlanta followers experience a mix of appreciation for Gray's contributions and frustration over continued staff turnover. The broader competitive landscape also shapes how this move is perceived, as the NFC continues evolving with rising offensive innovation, placing pressure on defensive coordinators to remain ahead tactically. If Gray and Morris succeed in synchronizing their approach with existing personnel strengths, the 49ers defense could become even more unpredictable, blending aggressive pressure packages with disciplined coverage rotations. That possibility carries postseason implications because defensive adaptability often determines playoff outcomes when facing elite quarterbacks capable of exploiting static schemes. Looking ahead, recruiting implications extend beyond immediate roster performance. Coaches with reputations for player development can influence free agent decisions, particularly among veterans seeking environments that maximize longevity and production. Defensive backs evaluating contract offers often consider coaching pedigree alongside financial terms, meaning Gray's presence could subtly improve San Francisco's attractiveness in future negotiations. Game projections also shift slightly with this hire, as analysts may anticipate improved communication efficiency and situational execution in late-game scenarios where defensive breakdowns historically decide outcomes. Even marginal improvements in third-down coverage or red zone positioning can translate into multiple wins over a full season. Ultimately, this reunion storyline embodies a broader truth about professional football. Success frequently emerges from relationships as much as talent. Coaches who understand each other's tendencies can construct systems faster, adjust mid-season more effectively, and maintain locker room confidence during adversity. If the partnership between Morris and Gray achieves that level of synergy, the 49ers could strengthen not only their defensive metrics but also their psychological edge, reinforcing a culture that expects deep postseason participation rather than merely hoping for it.